Hi, I'm State Representative J.T. Wilcox. I'm the House Republican Leader down here in Olympia, and we're finishing up the third week of the legislative session for this year. It's only a 60-day session, so things go fast, and a good part of the energy in these 3 weeks has been devoted to trying to fix problems that were created by legislation in the past. Some of it just last session, others going back to 2019. We saw final passage over in the Senate of a 18-month delay for the long-term health care tax. And I would hope that we have a wiser legislature in the future and we can replace that with something that is voluntary and actually makes sense. We're also seeing a great deal of energy around housing and the cost of housing. And one of the things that I think weighs on me the most after 12 years in the legislature is all of the bills that I voted against over 12 years that did nothing but make housing more expensive and harder to build. We have seen a pattern in Washington of proposals that are designed for social justice or environmental impact, and the result has been that we have a shortage of 250,000 housing units in our state. And even this year, when we know that we've got a crisis, we have multiple proposals that will make it more expensive because of changes in the building code, or make it more expensive to operate because we're banning certain kinds of energy. We have to fight back against that if we really care about the housing supply in the state of Washington. We've also seen disastrous public safety bills. And there's a broad consensus that those need to be changed. And some of those bills have passed on a bipartisan basis through committee already. There's a couple that are very important that should be passed. First, Representative Dan Griffey's HB 1656 that would make it easier to charge and apprehend people that are involved in organized retail theft that is actually gutting the retail sector in our small towns and even in big cities. We have to be able to go after this. And this bill has failed for several years because of objections by the majority party. This is a serious problem and we've got to quit ignoring it. Next, there's a bill that is sponsored by Democrat Representative Goodman. It's HB 2037, and this solves the confusion that has prevented police from being able to apprehend and detain people that are suspected of violent crimes. This allows us to go back to the reasonable suspicion test, and Republicans and Democrats have to support this so that we can have effective policing in Washington again. We also have record surpluses, and it's time to send some of those dollars back to the taxpayers. And there are good Republican and Democrat bills that can do this. In the House, Representative Orcutt, Republican, is proposing that we take about $2 billion and send it back to property owners because we have, in the end, over-collected property tax based on some changes that were made a couple of years ago. And in the Senate, there is a Democratic proposal, SB 5932, that would have a major rollback in sales tax. And whether or not Republicans or Democrats propose ideas like this, we should be supporting those. Thanks a lot, everybody, and I'll see you next week.